Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Coaches and Content. I'm your host, Zach Schull. Today, we got a very special guest, my friend and yours. His name is Johnny Moe. Johnny, how we doing today?
Fabulous, brother. Every day I wake up's a blessing.
Guys, let's give it up for Johnny, huh? Here we go. Thanks to our live audience. So, Johnny, I appreciate you coming on. So just to give a brief background about you, you have a company called Explore My Town. You could go to exploremytown.com. And it's I think it's a super unique and cool idea for real estate agents or local professionals, where basically you help people become pillars in the community through video marketing, right? Is that how you kind of would explain it in a nutshell?
That's it. You know, I would add to that it gives you the ability to video network with people on a B2B level, which is what nobody's doing it. And so it allows you to make connections with people in the community and elevate your status.
Yeah, so I always like to just give the background of what they do, but then I like to take a step back and rewind it a little bit, take it back to the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, because this podcast, we have coaches, entrepreneurs, and, you know, a lot of times there's always an interesting story of how they got to where they're at. So I'd love for you to kind of tell us how we got to this point of you starting Explore My Town.
Sure. So, I mean, I grew up with an entrepreneur mother, right? My father worked a regular job. My mother was always entrepreneurial. So I grew up around that. I learned in my adult career that I'm not a good employee, and I always like to try to change things, or I can see how I can do things in my mind better. And so I started, I think when I was about 22, I had a distribution company, took all the overflow from businesses that couldn't deliver on the UPS trucks next day. So we handled that overflow. We're smaller. That led to me putting myself through school, getting into school for networking, computer information systems. I was a network engineer during the .com pre-Y2K, so I got to experience that on a pretty high level. And that's where my understanding for technology and love for technology developed. I got into real estate, and I just killed it because there was no Zillow, there was no Facebook, none of this stuff existed, right? I was number one on Google and everything else. And time progressed, these companies came out, they have billions of dollars. And so I started to, you know, I hit all these pinnacles, and I'm like, what's next? I mean, selling real estate's easy, right? I can teach anybody to do it. And so I started to train. I went over to Keller Williams. I started to train. I developed a company called More GCI in 2013. That opened so many doors for me. I consulted with the tops of KW, tops of Remax, and it allowed me to, I exited that in 2019, but it allowed me all these relationships that I had built. It allowed me to coach dozens, hundreds of agents. It allowed me to train thousands of agents. And so the training continued to evolve from there. In 2016, I met with an agent, and he's from Vancouver. I met him in Boston, Michael Thorne, who was killing it with video. And I'm like, you're 100% right. Video is the way to go. And so I started to introduce that to my training and such. And in 2019, when I exited More GCI, I had ended up making a deal with a company to take that over. I was training agents to do videos and such like that, and suggesting that they were, just like every coach is now. But they weren't doing it. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to peel the onion back so there's no more excuses. I'm actually going to hire an editing team and put them together. I'm going to put a distribution team together. I'm going to put a training and onboarding team together. So you have no more excuses. You just shoot the video. We'll do the scripts for you. You shoot the video, upload the video, and we'll take it from there. So yeah, that's the progression of it. It all came through the progression of real estate, my technology background, the progression of real estate, and then seeing the need and building around it.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see the progression because it's always a similar story. Somebody gets good at something and they're like, oh, I could teach other people how to do this. Why don't I, start coaching? But then you took it to the next level where it's like, it's coaching, but it's also you're offering the service of you edit their videos, you distribute them for them. So it's like a good mix. So I'm curious, how did you promote Explore My Town? Like, I know you had your contacts and stuff before that, but were you making content to promote it? Like, how did you actually get your name out there for this concept?
So I had my name out there. I'm a moderator and had been in dozens of groups around, Facebook land. I've onboarded for associations and things like that. So I just basically used what level of, and I say this humbly because um, when you use the word influence and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm just an idiot on Facebook. You know what I mean? But I use that influence that I had in the relationships, and I'm a big networker, so I'm always, who do I need to know? Who's the next level up? And as a result of doing that, I've met great people, right? David Tam, Tristan Ahamuda, Saul Klein, John Giamo, so many awesome people that are instrumental in our business. Some of it came from, I know you through David, right? And you introduced me to somebody else. So it was the networking and talking to people. But when you're putting out good, pure content, when you're putting out good stuff, not being sleazy, not trying to sell anybody, but you're coming from the heart and giving, coming from contribution, people see that and they want to be part of it, right? And when you reach out to them to say, hey, listen, I want to talk to you, the door opens, right? You're not just blown off. So that's how I really promoted it. I did start putting out content. I put out content constantly. I was putting out traditional coaching content at first, but then I started to switch into talking, I got the Johnny Mo brand and the Explore My Town brand. Johnny Mo stays with the discipline and the coaching and the numbers, and the Explore My Town brand talks about video marketing, things that you need to be doing, how to do it, and such like that.
Yeah, I think that's smart to have separate the two. Personal branding really helps leverage your regular brand. I love how you like write the scripts for people and you provide everything. So you're applying what you did in your own life to how to network in the community, which is like really the first thing you need to do. Like I have a friend who just started doing mortgages, and I told him you need to become known in the community and you need to do it through video. So that's why it's super smart with Explore My Town. That's exactly what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and since we do it exclusivity, I'll put my editing team up against any editing team, right? They're amazing. They do awesome work. So you want to look professional. And what we do is it's more than just about video, right? Video is a tool, it's not the means. So one doesn't just put a video on social media and all of a sudden, wow, look at me, I'm popular. The platforms want your money. Right. So there's ad spend behind it. But also when you get into digital marketing, video is an instrumental part of digital marketing, right? You can put your video on your website, with blogs or community pages and everything else like that. Now there's a pixel or tracking code there so you can retarget, right? So video, that's why I say video isn't the means, it's a tool. When you understand and use it as a tool, it's really, really powerful because you can deliver a relatable message. And when people are starting to get to know, like, and trust you, it positions you as that authority figure in the community.
Yeah, I explain to people, I was talking to someone the other day, I explained the they're like, why is video so powerful? Why should I be doing video? And I had to think about it for a second, but it really goes back to what you just said, the know, like, and trust thing. I always like to tell people, think about your favorite actor. You think you know them. You think they're a good guy. Chances are they could be a huge asshole. Who knows? But you think you know them. You think they're awesome, and it's just because you've seen them in video a bunch. So that's why video is so powerful, is the know, like, and trust stuff.
The phenomena is called parasocial relationship. Right. And that's the big buzzword everybody's throwing away. I think somebody had said it a year ago and everybody says it. It just means a one-way relationship to, quote unquote, a celebrity figure of sorts. And if you're putting yourself out there, that you're considered a celebrity, right? You're not Tom Hanks, but you're considered a celebrity, right? Yeah. So now all of a sudden, they're getting to know your mannerisms. They're getting to know your tonality. They're feeling like they know you. And when you meet them, it's like, man, I know you. I'm comfortable with you, right? Versus you're meeting somebody for the first time. There's always that, awkwardness of breaking the ice and such.
Yeah, actually, I just a prime example of this just came to mind as something that you told me, that you put out your own video content, and I think you had a client who, when they actually met with you, they were like excited because they're like, oh, Johnny Mo, like I see your videos all the time. Like, wasn't there? Yeah. You told me a story like that once, right?
It happens all the time, and it doesn't only happen to me; it happens to my partners. Susan Cook. I love to talk about my partners, not me, right? So I'm going to use her story. Susan Cook moved to a brand new market in 2019. She moved from Falls Church, Virginia to Valdosta, Georgia, small southern town, and like one of the last cities before you get to Florida line. And she was having a hard time breaking in, like anybody would in any new market. And this was 2019. I've known her for several years prior, and she reaches out to me. She says, "Johnny, I think I'm going to quit. I don't know. I'm frustrated. I can't break in." I said, "Susan, start doing videos." And so she started to do videos in October of 2020 with me. And she has tripled her business. She is in the top 15 of her MLS. She has, everywhere she goes, people are like, "Oh, Miss Susan, come on in." Right? It's the South. "Hey, Miss Susan," right? That's just the polite thing that they do. "Oh, Miss Susan, come on in," right? To the restaurants and everything else like that. It is open. And she swears she's just starting to tap into the power of video. Right. So that's why I say video is great, but when you use it for video networking, that's where the real power comes in. But yeah, I get on meetings all the time, or I meet people at seminars where they're like, "Oh my God, I feel like I know you." Right. Yeah. Because I keep it real. I don't sugarcoat anything. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. But I don't sugarcoat anything. So when people meet me and they're just like, "Oh, it's great to see you. Your message resonates with me. You tell it how it is. And I appreciate the real world approach." So, people get that. They get your mannerisms. They get your feelings, your heart, right, through your videos, and they can connect with it.
Yeah. So I would like to take a step back if we could rewind it. I would love to kind of unpack. What was her name? Miss Susan? What was her name? Susan?
Susan Cook. Yeah.
So I would love to talk about like what you actually did for her, the whole process, and Explore My Town, because she's one of your partners, right? In Explore My Town.
Yeah.
So yeah, one other thing we should mention is, so you have like a unique approach where you have partners, and you have, one or two partners roughly per major city, which is super interesting. Rather than just having a customers, you have partners and relationships. So she's one of your partners down south. But so what, she comes to you, what is your process? What are you guys doing? You're telling her where to go, what to say, like how does it work?
Well, the very first thing, let's start with that. And she will even say that the reason she's successful is because we pushed her to do video. That period, right? We pushed her to do video, period. That's the most important thing, that you get into action. Most people are held back because of fear, right? That they're worried about what other people will think. Maybe they have a low self-esteem of themselves or whatever. They don't like the way they look. That's a lifelong problem, right? And we talk about that. We get over that. Gary Vee says, if you're not beating me, don't laugh at me. You can't laugh at me. If you're not beating me, you can't laugh at me.
I mean, I think, so, not to cut you off, sorry, but I think the average person does not like how they talk or want to see themselves on video. I think that's a normal thing for the average person. You just need to get over it, right?
Yeah, and when you take your average video and you play it back and everything, it's like, "Oh my God, this sucks." But after an editor gets done with it and dealing with cutting out the bad pieces, cutting out the pauses, putting some music and graphics into it, transitions and things like that, it looks amazing. Maybe they need to do some color balancing, noise reduction, whatever they do. And then all of a sudden you see the final product. Almost every one of my partners says, "I can't believe that video was from what I sent you, because what I sent you was a pile of garbage," right? And it's like, yeah, that's what we do. But we pushed her. And the way that I push her was, "Hey, Susan, how long are you going to keep paying me? I'm just going to call you a donor." And that's what I will say to people. "Hey, thank you for your donation. If you need me to edit a video at any time, just let me know."
Yeah.
Right. So we pushed her into action. And, some of her videos, I'm not going to do this here, right? Some of her videos, her face is half in there. They're not perfect, but they're authentic and they're from the heart. And that's what's important. So, with her, we pushed her into getting into action, which was the first thing. The second thing that we did was corrected a few things in her videos. We helped her come up with ideas and scripts. We have 40 some odd pages of suggestions on what to do. We teach you how to use Trello and do a brain dump and start to get these things going. I just say it simply like this. You want to tell stories of interest in people, places, and things, right? No, if you can hit something. We had a partner up in Maryland, Upper Peninsula, Maryland, touches Delaware. They did a restaurant. I think it was a restaurant. It's been there for like 100 years and super popular. Where she lives is very rural, a lot of farms and things like that. It got 186 shares in the first 48 hours, right? Because everybody knew that place. Everybody loved the owners, and everybody watched it and shared it. And that's where the power of video and social comes in. Again, This doesn't happen without the video, and that's why video is a tool. Your audience is, call it 1,000 people. When somebody shares it, it opens it up to another audience of, say, 1,000 people, right? And then the algorithm is like, oh, wow, these people like it. So now more people see it. Imagine that video gets shared 25, 30, 40 times, which is not uncommon for us. Susan had a video at 120 shares. And this is organic. This isn't even the paid, right? This is the organic shares. She had her first video that Lacey did was Lacey Sutton. And the first video she did got like 186 shares in the first 48 hours. That's amazing. Imagine now all of a sudden that's 186,000 people's, right? 186 sphere of influences that are seeing you, right? All because of the power of the algorithm. And the only way you can trick that algorithm or use the algorithm is with video.
Right. And it has to be good, engaging content. Yeah, that's the thing. I think people forget that it's not, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is probably watching us, but it's not him watching all of your stuff. It's an algorithm where you feed it good content that people like. That's when it'll take off. I think 100%. It's super interesting what you're talking about now. You're really tapping into something, because what you just said could be applied to anyone in any city. It's just a matter of going out there and making the content.
Yeah. And, I got a whole team, right? I got marketers, I got CTOs, CMOs, I got people that are, I got editors, head editors, operations managers. Everybody's making sure that they're the best at their part, right? They're delivering the knowledge that they're supposed to deliver, right? At those particular junctions. The average person, if they're doing it on themselves, I think everything we do, anybody can do. Let me just preface it with that. What we offer is leverage to be able to do it, right? Seamlessly and in a more consistent professional way. So sitting down to come up with the content, editing the content, putting the content out there, putting the ads behind it, anybody can do it, right? Doing the digital marketing aspects behind it and everything else like that as well. Anybody can do it. It comes down to a leverage play. It comes down to knowledge on how to do it, right? Or I just need somebody to do it because I don't have time. And quite frankly, I don't think any agent should be spending too much of their time doing that kind of work, because you can pay somebody $20 an hour to do it, right? A real estate agent should say that their time is worth, I would say, $500 an hour, $250 an hour, $100 an hour. I always believe in leveraging out $20 an hour work so I can go make $100 an hour, right? That's how growth happens.
Yeah, I mean, any agent or any business owner, they should be focusing on the fun part of it, which is like coming up with the concept and recording it, and then you just hand off the rest to someone else so that you can move on to the next thing. So that's really what I tell people too, is you get to do the fun part, you get to think of the ideas and record it, but then you need someone, you need to leverage, like you said, someone to do the rest of the hard work.
Yeah.
So did you mention to her, like, how did it come about that she went to a business that's been open for 100 years? Did you tell her you should find a pillar in the community? Like, how did she even come up with that idea?
She picked it. We give them basic suggestions, right? Restaurants, businesses, interesting people, places, or things. What are the interesting people, places, and things? What are the icons in your area? Start there, right? Who do you know in your sphere of influence that owns a business, right? Is it an interesting business? Support your sphere of influence, right? Reconnect with them. So we didn't tell her specifically to do that. We just said, because I don't know her area, right? It's like, what's something in your area that everybody knows? Start there. Right. It could even be an icon. Hey, everybody, I'm down here at Veterans Park. Y'all know this place, right? But did you know that on Tuesdays in Veterans Park that there's a farmer's market from 4 to 7 every week through June 15th to October 15th? Y'all should check it out. Come down here and support your local farmer, right? I mean, there's content everywhere. Everywhere there's content. Our goal is to make you the centerpiece of the community. We want you to be the community leader, right? That's why the group that we have general people in is called community leaders. We want people to become the community leader, the community influencer, the person that knows what's going on in that town. It allows you to read the news, take a look at what's going on in building and planning, be able to bring that out. Hey, did you all know that Whole Foods is coming to whatever town. That's right. It was just approved. It was just presented and approved at the planning board. They break ground in spring of 2023. We're going to keep checking in down there to see the progress, right? Become that person. Now, all of a sudden, I can send that out to my sphere of influence, and it's not a regurgitation of real estate, right? Because real estate agents, I'm one. I've been one for 20 years. So I know this firsthand, been in them trenches. Like to talk about real estate. The only thing they know how to talk about is real estate, right? I say this is my favorite thing to tell people, try to get through to people. Now, people on the podcast aren't going to be able to get this. People watching the video will, but make a circle with your hand, like a little okay. That is the real estate market today, right? That's the need. That's the people that need you right now. That's where every lead generation company exists, right? They're trying to sell you right now, the right now need. And every real estate agent, most of them are reactionary. Oh, I need to get something close so I can pay my mortgage, right? That's that little circle of the immediate need of now. But if you can take your hands and expand it around your head, now all of a sudden that's the people that are going to need you in the next 3 to 5 years. If you can build relationships now for 3 to 5 years down the road, you'll have a business so big you'll have everything that you want, right? It takes time and it takes patience.
Yeah, it just hit me why your company is called Explore My Town, because these agents are essentially going and exploring their town and making videos about the town for people in the town to educate them and entertain them. And then in return, they go, oh, Johnny Moe made that video. I forgot he's a realtor. I want to buy a new house. Let me use him because I want to sell my house or buy a house. So I don't think people really understand kind of that's how this stuff works too, is you provide them with the value or entertain them. You get back in their top of their mind, and it also build a connection with them, like we talked about earlier, the parasocial relationship. So this stuff really works on like so many levels, and I think that's why it works.
Well, I'll tell everybody all the secrets because most people won't do it, right? Now I can take my video. I don't look at you. Everybody's trying to become the next YouTube sensation, right? And I'm going to do everything YouTube tells me. I don't. Yes, we follow what you're supposed to do, but I don't even look at it. I look at Google. Okay. Mm-hmm. Google owns YouTube. Google's going to spider YouTube. Right. So I search engine optimization. I do search engine optimization on YouTube. Right. I don't do YouTube optimization. Of course we do that, but my focus is YouTube optimization, SEO, Google optimization on YouTube. Okay. That's confusing as hell. But anyways, most people are not using their Google business page or whatever they call it this week, Google business listing, and putting a video there, putting a 1,500 word mini blog, if you would. Click and learn more, and you can drive them to your page, your website. You can drive them to your YouTube. You can actually put the hyperlink in the description and still use to learn more. Now, if I have an article that talks about whatever is popular in town, I can then drive them to my blog, right? From Google to my blog. On my blog's on my website. It should be pixelated. Now I can retarget them, right? Now I can also take that blog and put it into a newsletter and send that out to my sphere of influence. So instead of a cheesy B realtor saying, hey, the market's crashing, it's the best time to sell. Market's not crashing. Market's correcting itself to normal. Market's not crashing. People have been spoiled for 2 years. Market's getting back to normal. So now all of a sudden you can say, instead of the market's crashing, you need to sell your house in 2 hours, right? Any of that crazy stuff. You can say, hey, I did this. I did a video on this amazing James Beard restaurant that is downtown. Did you take a look at this? Right? It's still branded with your logo and stuff like that. It's going out to your sphere of influence. They know what you do. And then below that, it's a little bit of market stats. And then it's like, hey, are you interested in seeing what your home's worth? It's a much less in your face approach, an aggressive approach. And again, I go back to the people that need you now is smaller than the people that will use you. But if you keep punching those people 3 years down the road, 2 years down the road in the face with the now immediate aggressive need, you're going to lose them. Right. But if you can slow churn them over the time, you build up that likability, you position yourself as that community leader. When the time comes, well, you should be consistent with your newsletter. They're going to reach out to you and say, hey, man, I've been getting your newsletters for the past year to 2 years. And it's time to sell. I'd like to meet with you. So when you attract that you probably have 100% close ratio.
Man, that was so good. I gotta give you a round of applause. That was
it was deep, man. That was a lot and deep. You know what I mean? Even on paper, it's confusing.
That was such a good breakdown. And it's, you know, you say you gave away the secret, but you still have to know how to do all this. So that's why that's where people like you and me come in, where we can tell you how to do this stuff. But and a person is going to be like, wow, that sounds great. I can't do any of that. Can you do it for me? So that's kind of like, it kind of goes back with the video stuff too. It's like you educate people, and usually in return, you know, they come back and help you. That was such a good breakdown. And to add to that, it's smart to target Google over YouTube, because a lot of times now when you search for stuff, they show you videos first anyway. Like Google, the top of the Google might show you YouTube videos based on what you're searching. So if you do a video with a local restaurant, like you mentioned, your video might show up at the top if you do YouTube SEO. So have you seen that at all? You know what I mean? How like Google shows YouTube videos?
Yeah, I see it all the time. I use it in my presentation.
Nice. Yeah.
Right. So if you go look for jewelers in Hanover, Pennsylvania, and click videos, Darren's video is like the third one. If you do all and you do Garrick Jewelers, he's the first video right there. If you do the Crystal I think it's the Crystal Guide, Portland, Oregon, right? Dill Ward, she did it right. She's got a blog on her business page for real estate. And here's the thing: somebody lands on that, they're pixelated, they're added to the audience, right? Now all of a sudden, the YouTube video is ranking, and also her business page is ranking for that specific thing, because people are not going to YouTube to look for the jeweler. They're not going to YouTube to look for the Crystal Guide, right? Maybe they're looking for crystals. Maybe they're looking for custom jewelry or something like that on YouTube, but they're going to Google to do this specific search. And when they see you, and every time they're doing these searches, there's you, right? Right? It's about brand. They're putting billboards all over the place.
Yeah. So I want to take it back to Miss Susan and your process, because it's super unique and interesting what you guys do. So she comes up with the idea, she goes there, then she sends you the video files, and then where do we go from there? You guys edit it, you know, you put it on YouTube, you make a clip for social media. Like, what's the next step after that?
Yeah, so first thing she's going to do is put a script request in, and we'll write a script for her, right? The script is, real easy. It's a hook, an intro, transition, and then 3 questions, and then we close it out. Right? There you go. There's the script. There's a 3 to 5 minute video right there, everybody. And then what we do is cut it down. We always end it with a pre-recorded piece to say, hey, listen, I'm a real estate agent. I forget exactly how it says because I don't write scripts anymore. It goes, as a small business owner myself, it's really imperative that I support local, and I'm asking you to support local too. So support our local businesses. Did you know that as a real estate agent, I'm a small business too? If you happen to know anybody looking to buy or sell any real estate, please think of me, your local community real estate agent, right? Because I want Susan to be able to say, hi, it's Susan Cook, you're Valdosta real estate agent, or hi, it's Johnny Moe, your community real estate agent, because now you start to brand that. So Susan puts a script request in, Rico's Taco, and which was a real one. And Rico is dynamic. He's a great guy. So she puts a script request in. We write the script. We send it over to you within 24 hours. Now you get the script. Usually you would have it scheduled that you're going to go in there Tuesday at 10 o'clock. And then she goes in there, and we teach them to first of all, take a bunch of B-roll footage because we want that. And then they follow the script. And it gives you the shot scenes on there and everything else. She goes through, she records them, and then uploads all that content. Our editing team takes that, turns it into an awesome video. Of course, you have full say throughout the whole process. Katie will review the video before it even gets to you to make sure any simple issues are taken care of or spelling issues are taken care of. So when you get it, it's usually only 1 or 2 revisions. Then you got the perfect video. And then what happens is we take that video and we have the full length video, which is a traditional YouTube standard, 16:9 aspect ratio. Then we turn it into a 1-minute version, 9:16 for Reels and TikTok if you want, and a 1:1 video for 1 minute, which is great for just about everywhere except YouTube. And but we use it predominantly for Google, right, for the Google announcement. So she'll have access to all that. She'll have a write-up for YouTube, and she'll have a write-up for Facebook. And our titles, we try to get good or better on TubeBuddy or vidIQ. So at least they have a halfway decent title. And that title helps rank. We use keywords everywhere as well to see what might be trending. And that might go into the body and the description. We put links to their websites and everything else in there. So they have the hyperlink, which brings up a whole nother phenomena of a top level domain with a backlink to Google, YouTube are authorities, right, in that space. So now you got a backlink to your website from an authority. And then we give her a Dropbox of all that. She has everything. We upload it to a playlist on YouTube because that we have an API to our websites through YouTube and Facebook, and we upload it to Facebook for her. And as soon as that's uploaded to Facebook, the API automatically populates the website. So she doesn't even have to do anything with the website; it just automatically populates as she's posting to Facebook. And then we post it to the company Instagram and tag the partners, right? Or invite them to be contributors. And now they can I think it's called a contributor, right? Yeah. On Instagram, invite them to be contributors and they can do whatever they want with it. But we give them all the assets so they can post everywhere. We post it to certain places, tag them, involve them, and they have full control over it all.
And then you also, I think you don't run their ads for them, right? But you assist them with it. I forget, how do you do it? You'll advertise the video on Facebook or Instagram. What do you guys do there?
So we do run the ad. I mean, it's an optional service. It's an extra couple $100 a month for us to run the ad because it does take 20 minutes, right, to set up. Call it a half hour if you're creating new audiences based upon video watches and all this other stuff. Call it 20 minutes to a half hour to create an ad. So it's an additional service, but we will run the ads for them. So how we run the ad is, we have the sizzle reel and the welcome video, which are basically the spearhead that goes out and builds the audience. And then we build retargeting campaigns based upon that and videos watched. So as time goes on, the audience grows. And that's what the VA will do.
Man, with so much stuff that you're doing, what do you if in a couple of sentence, how would you clarify in a nutshell what you guys do? Because you do so much. There's video, there's marketing. What do you really consider yourself as?
I consider us a video production and editing company first that offers marketing.
Right.
Yep. I mean, we got coaching and training and everything as well. So I just consider us your video production team.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a super unique idea. And then mixing in how you have partners in different towns and you only have a couple per town. So there's like the whole exclusivity thing to it as well.
Yeah. And I think that's super important because several things. I don't need every zip code, right? I'm not that. Maybe when the company's sold and the next CEO, they can do whatever the hell they want to do. But for us, we don't want or need to be in every zip code because we're not trying to sell in every zip code. We'd rather have a good regional presence because if you take a 50,000-foot view, what we want to do is build a national brand on top of that. And if it gets too watered down, then, who do I talk to in, Baltimore? Who do I talk to in Miami? All of a sudden you get there and it's like these three agents, they saw the value and they're dominating the social media airwaves. It's almost like, in my mind, a TV show, right? Or a social media show, which is real. That's why we have playlists and things like that. So instead of watering it down with too many people, trying to get every nickel, I would rather have exclusivity and make it special. We offer editing only as well, right? So if somebody just needs editing, we can edit for them. It doesn't have anything to do with Explore My Town. So the exclusive, it starts with training. I do this so nobody can tell me no. Training, which is a couple $100 one time, right? Here's the training course. That's how to do it. 2 is we'll edit for you, and here's the training course. That's $299 to $499 a month, right? Short money. And then, you want coaching, training, support, marketing, and all this other stuff. That's the crown jewel. That's Explore My Town.
Yeah, your name's Johnny Mo, not Johnny No. So nobody tells you no, right?
Right, Johnny No. Put your credit card right here.
Well, man, time really flew by. Before we started the interview, you're like, I'll talk really slow, make sure we fill the time, but time has flew by. So I think as we wrap it up, I think my last question, I really want to touch on the community thing. What do you give advice for people? Because, the most important thing is becoming known in your community. and exploring your town, if you will. So what advice do you have for agents or local businesses? How do they become known in the community and become pillars in their community?
Start making videos, right? Videos allows you to then go network, and you can do reels, which I think is the most popular and powerful thing to do right now is simply just do reels. Start there. It's free and propagates to Facebook, but start to do video, because when you do a 10-minute video, you get multiple pieces of content that you can use for repurposing, and then build relationships, right? So I do video networking. That's what I kind of call the methodology around Explore My Town. Go meet people, do videos of interesting people, places, and things, and network, because NAR and their generational trends report says 67% of your buyer business and 74% of your seller business should come from either a referral, you know them, they worked with you in the past, friend, family member. So if you can grow your sphere of influence, right? And your sphere of influence, in my opinion, in 2020 doesn't necessarily include the people that you know anymore. It also includes the people that know you on social media, right? So as you can grow your sphere of influence, you are going to get more business just through the natural progression of things. But remember, under all, my friend Saul Klein says, under all is the land. Right. I say in real estate, that's in real estate. I say in what we're doing is under all is the relationship. So use video to build relationships, right? And just put it this way, Zach, if I'm a real estate agent, I'm meeting you at a BNI or a networking event, I'm like, hey, Zach, Johnny Moe, love to get together with you, have a cup of coffee, see how we can help each other grow. That's the canned traditionals, million people saying phrase, right? But if I can walk up to you and say, hey, Zach, Johnny Moe, I have this channel called Explore My Town, Delaware, or Wilmington, Delaware. And you know, that person's I'm already got instant credibility. Good chance they've saw my work already. And listen, I like to feature small businesses and instrumental people in our community. And I'd like to interview. It doesn't cost anything. All the cost is on me, and we'll get thousands of eyes on that. Would you like to do that? This is a much better conversation to have.
Yeah, and chances are anyone who's busy or successful, if you just say, "Hey, let's meet for coffee," they're probably not going to do it because they're busy, and what are you offering them besides coffee? So yeah, by having a channel gives you a platform, and it helps break the ice and make more connections. So that's a great advice.
That's exactly why we do what we do.
Yeah,
and then having the national brand behind it gives you that little bit more credibility.
Right.
Right. Just like a brand new real estate agent. Let's just use Remax, right? I pretty much started my career at Remax, and started at Carlson, but I was only there for a couple of months. And then Remax, I spent 8 years. But the whole thing, when I would always say we, right? Oh, we do this, and oh, we listed that, and because I'm leaning into the credibility of the company, right? Of the brokerage and of the brand. And it's the same thing. It's no different here. So sometimes it's difficult. Again, anybody can do what we do. But if you're just going to be, oh, I'm Johnny Moe and I have a community channel, right? Versus, hey, I'm Johnny Moe and I'm part of this national movement. It gives a little bit more credibility.
Man, well, I think this is a great place to end it. I would love to give you a chance to promote everything. You know, I'm going to put links to everything in the show notes, but you know, you have your own podcast, your Facebook group, Facebook page, Instagram, Explore My Town, all that stuff. So where can people go to hear more of you and listen to more of you and all that stuff?
So, man, you can do, anything web-based. You can go to exploremytown.com or partner with mytown.com, but exploremytown.com is the main site. You can look at anything Explore My Town online. Sometimes it's explore.mytown because that's just how it has to happen sometimes. But if you want to listen to the podcast, you can go on to any of the major platforms and just look up Real Estate Community Leaders, and you'll have that podcast. And
that's the name of the Facebook group too, right?
It is, yeah. The Facebook group is Community Leaders, but it says Real Estate Community Leaders. If you go to facebook.com/group/community leaders, there we are.
Awesome. Well, guys, let's give them a round of applause for coming on. It's a great interview. So I just have to, anyone out there, if you want a podcast like this, let me know, because that's what we do. We produce podcasts. But again, Johnny, I appreciate you coming on. This has been great. Hopefully somebody learned something from this. In fact, I know somebody will learn something from this. Check out exploremytown.com. You can see some of his work, his team's work, some of his partners' work. And we'll be back next week with another episode.
Peace.
team.